I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping, and then I'll just give a kind of a brief presentation about the purpose of this boot camp. So if you're here, you obviously have some inkling of what we're facing in terms of marketing and just, consuming information in general. It's going to be, as far as I can tell, a huge paradigm shift in both the creation and the distribution of content. And it's going to affect basically every aspect of marketing. So the fact that you're here, nod to you, because you've recognized that this is not just a fad. It's not a new QR code. It's not a new, something that just kind of came and went. This thing's staying. And the only thing I can really compare it to from my personal experience is the creation of the internet. Because when the internet came around and really got popular in the mid to late 90s, there were people who said like, oh yeah, it's just a thing. It's just another, type of media that's going to come and go and whatever. And the people who took it seriously, that really said, I'm going to get in on this trend and start a company, or I'm going to build things, that's Amazon and YouTube and all these enormous companies that you see started during the last paradigm shift, which for me was, 2000. That's when things changed. So now we're going to say 2023. That's when things changed. And this bootcamp is the start of that. And just to give you some perspective, we're not going to talk about like really detailed, here's AI and here's how it works. And here's that's boring. And you can look up that stuff or have ChatGPT generate an answer for you. What we're really concerned about here is practical application of AI today to enhance your marketing. So everybody raise your hands if that's what you're here for. Hopefully it is, because that's what we're doing. So it's not going to be a ton of, speculative philosophies and aspects like that. It's going to be how to apply it specifically to, essentially setting up a funnel and all the core aspects of a funnel. So your landing page, how to generate your content to drive to that landing page, how to populate your email drip campaigns with copy, how to, ideate different aspects of your promotion, how to, research for your positioning documents, for your ideal client profile, which we're going to teach you how to do, and then use AI tools to do all this 10 times faster than you've been able to in the past. So if everybody's excited for that, I'm going to give just a little kind of overview of the entire course. Then I'm going to push off to Matt Swan, our head of marketing at Digital Marketer, and he's going to teach you something today. So very exciting. And let's get to it. Share my screen here. All right. So before we get started, a couple things. This session is being recorded. We will post the replay of this session within 24 hours on the member portal and the course page, and also Slack. So you'll see a link to it there. We'll also have any resources that we talk about, like this slide deck or like Matt Swan's slide deck that he's going to be sharing, will be on there as well. And if you have any questions during the live session, go ahead. If you could see it, I don't have it up here, but on your Zoom, you'll see the Q&A icon on Zoom itself. Actually, yeah, you won't be able to see it because it's hidden, but use that rather than the comment. And then also, we're unable to track questions in the chat. So again, just use the Q&A tool. And we also have the Slack channel, so you can post in there, but the Q&A tool for each individual session is the best place to do it. All right, so just some quick stats just to show like, hey, this is not a fad. This is a thing that's happening. 80% of businesses have already implemented AI technology and have reported increased sales and revenue growth. A lot of people don't know, but the big companies have been using AI for years. Any large company like Nike, they've been using AI in order to generate processes, automate processes, and eliminate the need for staff, which is why you see a lot of big tech companies are starting to do these big layoffs. And this has to do with not the positions getting replaced, because I think a misconception about AI is that it's just going to replace Joe's job. It's not. What it's going to do is automate things that were Joe's responsibility. So even though the job is still there, the responsibilities that the individual person was in charge of are now gone, because they're done so much faster using AI, which we're going to show you how to do yourself. Next, personalized content produced with AI-driven technology has shown to increase conversions by 202%. So as marketer, you probably know that the more targeted you could get in terms of your content, in terms of your ad copy, in terms of your headlines to your target market, the better it's going to be. Now, just imagine that all that content that you're producing was specific to a single individual, and that's how the content they're seeing is being produced. That's what you're facing. So if you've heard people say like, oh, well, AI content versus human content, one is better than the other, it's not even an argument anymore, because what's going to happen is that content's going to become hyper customized to an individual. And there's no human on earth that could write enough articles for enough individuals to compete with an AI that just does it automatically and instantly. So you could get rid of the whole AI versus human content. There's places for both, things, both content producers, and we're going to show you how that works. Next, AI-powered recommendation engines can increase average order value up to 50%. So again, when we're talking about SEO or any kind of search where people are trying to find products or commercial solutions, the AI-powered version is going to be doing that a lot tighter. So you're not going to have 100 million results when you're trying to find a commercial solution. You're going to have a much more tailored list of solutions where you're actually able to click on one of the first 3 answers you're going to get and find that. And what's showing already is that it's increasing average order value. All right, next, what is the AI-powered marketer? An AI-powered marketer is 10 times more effective than a traditional marketer. This is an official term. I kind of came up with this because that's really what we've seen at Digital Marketer. Me, Matt Swan, everybody that works here is starting to see a 10 times increase in what we're able to produce, what we're able to ideate, what we're able to write, what we're able to come up with in terms of variations of ads and ad copy. Everything is happening way faster. So if you're thinking that, I'll just keep up by getting even better at what I traditionally do, you're wrong, because people like us are going to be 10 times faster than you. So you need to be 10 times faster as well. And that's why you're here. So our goal is to prepare you to 10x your marketing effectiveness with AI. What does that mean? You'll find out during the course as we teach you a bunch of different aspects of AI and using it within marketing. All right. Why we chose to launch the AI-powered marketer. Now, you might have noticed that this thing didn't exist. We did not start advertising this within, a month ago. You would not hear that. You wouldn't even hear us talking about it. And what happened was that this whole AI trend, the amount of tools, the effectiveness of those tools, the update to those tools is happening so fast that it would have been a disservice to you or our clients or customers to not have this program. So even though that the tools are very new and that we are still learning, the teachers that we have here are still learning, even the ones that like Lauren Petrullo, who's been using it for 2 years, it's still relatively new. And we still felt that we had to create this course because there's so many practical applications that you have today that you could employ with AI and maybe not have to outsource tasks, or maybe not have to do those tasks yourself, or maybe not to have to hire somebody to do those tasks. The tools are already so powerful that that's already possible, which is why we decided to do it. Also, by 2025, another fun statistic, it's predicted that AI will eliminate repetitive and time-consuming tasks for 40% of workers in marketing, sales, and customer service. So our specific industry as marketers is evolving. You need less people than you needed before, even today. And so there's really no reason to delay. Actually, there's a reason not to delay. You need to start using AI right now. And again, that's why you're here. So let's talk about our sessions really quick. This is our kickoff session. Next week, we're going to be doing, I'm not going to walk through all these because you could just see the schedule and the content, but just know that there is a progression to the content. But also, our goal is not to give you like a set program. This is how you're supposed to use AI. Our goal is to expose you to as many tools as possible, as many tips as possible, as many techniques as possible, so you could do what we're calling creating your, I'm talking too much, creating your AI skill stack. Where you're actually able to say, okay, based on AI, these are the tools that I am good at. These are the tools that I want to use. And I now know, have the beginnings of how to understand them, how to utilize them today to do tasks that you're currently doing without AI. So these are the topics kind of broken down. ICP, again, this is our new kind of more detailed customer avatar framework, the ideal client profile. We also have product positioning, which Scott Cunningham is going to help us out with as well. And we'll also include brand voice and how to research and generate that. Marketing keyword research, that's going to be a fun one. Content creation, we have Julia McCoy, who is somebody who gave a speech that was anti-AI in December. And I'm never going to let her live that down. She mentions it too, so I feel comfortable doing that. But she actually gave a speech where it said, hey, there's no way that an AI could possibly write content as good as a human. And then she was approached by the people at Content at Scale, and boom, now she's the VP of marketing for Content at Scale and is telling everybody that AI can not just write as good as a human, but can write better than humans sometimes. And that's where she came up with her AIO, AI optimization term, and you'll be learning a lot about that as well. We also have high converting email and page copy, high converting ad copy, scroll stopping ad creative, and then we also have a few bonus sections. We're gonna have Atiba come in. He's gonna do mastering prompt engineering, AI powered podcasting, and finally AI powered design, which is something that I love, and I've been using a ton of AI to employ it. So you're gonna be learning all of these things. And again, it's not it's not supposed to get you to become a master at these things. It's supposed to expose you to them so that you could decide what you want to master. And also you'll be in the know, because a lot of people haven't even tried ChatGPT. Everybody here today, try ChatGPT if you haven't already. So that'll be task one. All right, who's teaching? And this is actually just a partial list. We'll actually be increasing the number just based on who's available and then the presentations they're doing. We're trying to squeeze in as much content as possible into this so that you get as much knowledge as you can off of all the different topics, all the different tools. And you'll be seeing everything. So, and also if you have any questions for these people, all these people are going to be in the Slack group. If you have somebody specific that you want to talk to, all you have to do is message them within the Slack channel, and I'm sure they'll be willing to help you with your issues. But again, wait until they present their materials. Don't just go to them directly and say, hey, we're going to start from scratch and I'm just going to throw a bunch of questions at you. We do have a progression of this, and we want to make sure that you have the resources, which we'll be uploading to the course and to Slack after each one of these presentations. But again, a lot of these people have been using it a ton. Julia McCoy, of course, James Bullis is already using this and has actually come on to do, during the AMA, showed you exactly how he's using it and how much faster it's going. Dean Davis, I literally told him, I showed him, I don't know if you guys have seen, but I have a customer value journey Excel sheet or a Google sheet. And I said, hey, could you automate this somehow? And within 10 minutes, he actually created an embeddable JavaScript code that did the same thing as a spreadsheet, but could be embedded onto a website anywhere you want, and is a fillable form field. So from a website development standpoint, it's incredible the amount of the speed that you could do. Lauren Petrullo, she's going to be talking about Jasper. She's one of those 2-year users of Jasper and these tools. We're actually going to see the Jasper people next week, so we'll have even more stories. I'm not going to go through everybody, but just know that this is a partial list of the people you're going to be learning about. If you want to, I definitely recommend following these people because they're coming out with AI content all the time. I didn't even put Matt Swan and Mark DeGrasse on here, but I post stuff about AI every single day. So take a look at that. Finally, we did make this little workbook. We're going to make this fill outable, but basically we just want you to have a place to start taking your notes. So specifically we say, hey, attend each biweekly session. During those sessions, collect your notes, collect your aha. So your aha moments are just those big, realizations that you have where you're like, man, that will just make a huge impact on my business, on my client's business, on everybody. And I need to write this down. So we just want to, kind of emphasize, like, take notes. If you have those massive realizations, make sure you write them down. And also the action items, none of these things, even if you have the best lesson in the world, and we teach a lot of courses, we teach a lot of neat stuff. If you don't take them and put them into action, chances are you're probably going to forget them and then relearn them in the future when you see somebody else do them. So write down those action items and don't go crazy. Don't write 50 action items. Write something practical and realistic for you to implement today and often, because the only way you are actually going to make these tools a part of your business is to consistently use them. Finally, this is the AI skill stack I was talking about. Find out the aspects of AI that are really intuitive to you, and then start looking into further research. So we just made this little worksheet, just to, I would say create 3 categories, and we're going to be presenting you with lots of categories of AI and the implementation of AI. If you want to pick 3 and then just start listing, like, man, if I could get really good at this, it would make a huge difference. If I get really good at this, it can make a huge difference. If I get good at this, it could be a whole new business for me. It could be a new service offering. It could be something huge that will make an enormous difference in your business and in your life. So that's a quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about. Right now, we're actually going to have Matt Swan, our head of marketing, somebody who's been using AI as much as anybody I've seen. And I've been working with a lot of people who are using AI. And so what he's going to do is give you your first lesson. And so I will let Matt take it away now.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mark. I appreciate it. I'm excited to see the people are speaking. I'm anxious to, I know someone else kind of said the same thing in the chat, to see Dean's chat when it comes to website development. I know for the AI-powered marketer sales page, I used ChatGPT to basically build a savings calculator that would spit out, estimated savings at time with AI. It took me about 10 minutes. I know nothing about code. I've not been a coder in my life or anything along those lines, but I was able to produce a functional JavaScript code that I just copied and pasted straight onto our website. And it took me about 10 minutes. So definitely excited to hear what he has to say about that. So I'm looking forward to it. So for today, my goal, let me go and share my screen. My goal is just to set the tone for kind of what we're going to be doing, right? We're going to be learning a lot over the coming weeks, a lot of great sessions, but I wanted to have kind of a set the tone opportunity for what this all means for AI and marketing, and what we can do with it, and kind of get you guys excited about what we're going to be learning and what we can do, and really what we can utilize AI in our marketing kind of here in 2023 and beyond. So kind of the first thing I want to, really kind of talk about here is the big question that we see there's a lot of news articles about it, a lot of people talking about it and sharing, and the big question being, will AI replace marketers? So hopefully you guys all have the same opinion that I do on this, but I think the reality is no. In fact, I think what it's doing, and as Mark alluded to, is it's making marketers become even more valuable. AI as a tool is a collaborator. It's not a replacement. It's not in place of it. It's an addition to, it's a supplement to make marketers even better, even faster. I said the same thing when everybody freaked out. The last kind of big shift was when Facebook rolled out iOS 14 and 14.5 with all the tracking changes. And people were concerned with Facebook was going to be the end of Facebook. Things were going to break. Everything was going to go to, hell in a handbasket. And, really what I was saying at the time was, it's not going to break everything. It's just going to weed out the bad offers. It's going to make it harder to compete, but the best marketers will compete. And, the reality is that's what it's done. It's moved a lot of people off of there to chase new different ad platforms. But what it's allowed for us is on our side, we're getting costs on Facebook that are lower than 3, 4, 5 years ago. So really it's these paradigm shifts, people want to jump towards them, and we got to look at them as tools and opportunities, not as replacements. The reality is you just need to know how to leverage these tools so you don't get left behind. So what are kind of the reasons I believe that AI won't really replace marketers? I mean, reason number one, AI tools in themselves don't work straight out of the box. They aren't out of the box platforms. What you need is marketers to actually execute the campaigns and engineer the prompts. It's great if one single person can go in and prompt AI to get them an entire marketing campaign, but it's a whole other thing to be able to go and execute that. Execution is such a big piece of marketing that often doesn't get talked about. The marketers that are able to execute effectively and efficiently are the ones that tend to succeed. Not only that, at the end of the day, it's a machine. We need marketers there to add the human emotion, add the human element, and really hone in what we're doing with AI and the results that we're getting and what we're using with it. So that's kind of reason number one. Reason number two, everything changes. Between data and privacy laws, third-party cookies going away, the SEO tactics and changes that come out with Google rollouts. What the reality is, the best digital marketing talents have to keep up in the future trends and not rely on AI to do that for you. And so what I did was is actually pretty interesting. I went into ChatGPT. Everything I'm going to talk about today was done off ChatGPT because it's a free tool. So I wanted to do something that anybody could pop onto. And I asked it a simple question. I said, what is Google's most recent advertising update? What do they have for data on that? And what I saw was the response from ChatGPT was, as of my training data cutoff in 2021. That's a really important piece there. How do you expect AI to stay up with all of the changes if you're not sure when their last date of training data was cut off? So us as marketers have to know the best practices and compliance. If we're not overlaying human intelligence or perspective with the use of AI, more can go wrong than go right. AI can't see the future, it can't see what's coming up. And a lot of times it can only look back to a certain amount of time on a lot of these tools. And so we as marketers have to be careful of not over reliance and seeing it as a tool in our tool belt and not the end all be all that fixes everything. Reason number three, the outputs are only as good as the inputs. That's reality. If you have no original thought, you're only able to produce the contents and results that literally anyone else can too. That's a really important point, and I think where people, kind of overlook, AI. It's like, well, I can just go in there and do it. I can ask it this quick prompt, and I'm going to get a headline, or I'm going to get ad copy. It's like, great. So could literally anybody else in the world get that if you don't feed it with the right inputs. The bar of creating usable marketing materials has been raised, but the reality is the best marketers still have to rise above that, because the big point in there is the bar to usable has been raised, not top notch. And what we want to produce is top notch marketing that stands out, that converts, and that gathers people's attention. And reason number four is just reliability. You're relying on a tool, something that's over the internet. And as we know, it can be frustrating. I'm sure many of you have been on ChatGPT and seen network errors, errors of, it won't get you the responses you want, you can't get in. Or maybe it's from giving too many prompts if you're on a free edition, not a paid. But the reality is stuff goes down. Like online tools go down all the time. We have multiple different tools, not just ChatGPT or not just AI tools in general that we rely on, that they go down. And even the most reliable tools out there, looking at like a Stripe account. I mean, merchant processing. Stripe was a couple of years ago that Stripe went down for a couple of hours and not processing payments. This stuff happens. And the reality is, if you're too over reliant on AI, what happens if your deadline's a few hours away? What if you're stuck? What if you rely so much on it, or you just have people that know how to prompt and do nothing else, and their ability to do that goes away, and you're not able to hit a deadline, fulfill for a client, anything along those lines, because you're over reliant on AI and not seeing it as a tool to leverage. So how do we win with AI in 2023 and beyond? So like I said, what we're doing is we're just really scratching the surface, and mostly with ChatGPT. Throughout this program, we're going to be digging really deep into these topics and giving you actionable step-by-step ways that you can leverage the different tools and the different strategies. But what I'm going to do is share with you three things that you can really do right now. Step one is realize AI is the new swipe file. At the end of the day, marketing has always really been repurposing and proven. When you get down to it, you think so much about swipe files that people use, going back to looking at the old copy of the Ogilvy and the Schwartzes, and so much of those foundational pieces, and even where that came from before. It's always been about taking what's proven, repurposing it, and trying to improve and make it better. In fact, so much, it's quite literally how digital marketer got its start. We were always producing new swipe files to hand out, but I just think now that's not going to be the reality. I think AI has really changed that. It's no longer about swipe files. What you're going to see more of is it's going to be about prompting. and using the right prompting to generate the response that you're looking for. And so I did something fun on ChatGPT. So I went over and I wanted to see if I could use it as my swipe file. So this is my example of the two young men. So I went over to ChatGPT and I said, write a sales letter to sell a course on how to get in better shape based upon the following example, the Wall Street Journal's two young men letter. And then I simply took that letter that I had in text form and just pasted the content of the sales letter. And you can do this with really any input that you can add in there to really teach it and learn it. And I hope some of you on this call know what I'm talking about with the two young men letter. It's a foundational letter for Wall Street Journal that generated, I think, $2 billion in subscriptions for the amount of times that it ran, and different variations ran from, I think it was the 50s all the way through the 70s. So very, very foundational piece of copy and a very proven letter. And so I was able to do that. And I'm not going to go into share the full result because you can go do this for yourself. This is not revolutionary. I'm just trying to share a point of what you're able to do. But what I got back was something oddly familiar to that exact letter. Kicking off with "Dear fitness enthusiast, on a beautiful summer morning." It used descriptive letter. It had two people. In this case, instead of doing two young men, it did a man and a woman deciding to take control of their health and fitness. They were very similar individuals, but they had different paths in their lives. And this is what the result was about. And that's what that letter is all about, right? That letter is all about, there was two young men. They had the same path up until they split. And one of them rose to be the, the president or high level manager of the company. And the other one still worked in the mailroom. And what it was talking about was their difference was knowledge, ultimately, and the knowledge from the Wall Street Journal. And this goes on and on. But if you ever go and look up that letter or find it, what you'll see is literally the first sub-headline is "What made the difference?" And ChatGPT was able to pull that through and customize it to a completely different offer. So that's what I really think is AI is turning into that new swipe file. So the reality is you're only as good as your prompts. This is a very generic example, and I want to get into some specifics here in a little bit later. But the nice thing is it's based on something that did convert. And then back to my point is you need that human element, though, that marketing element to come in and really focus on those conversion and persuasion elements to really hone in that letter. So number two, what can we do? Except that the game has changed. So when you look at marketing, right, the old way of marketing, when you look at it, was really a balance of arts meets science was equal to marketing. That's when you look back at years and years and years ago. I mean, you're talking about in the foundation of so much of this. Remember, there was years when NLP was everything. Everybody, all anybody could talk about was NLP and focusing their language on NLP and the power of that in their marketing. There's people that focused on human behavior and scientific research to hone in their marketing, psychological insights, deep data, copywriter, offer creation. All that piece was a balance between art and science that was for marketing. But when you look at the new way with what AI has allowed us to do, is it's really art plus science plus speed. And really, I could even argue here now with things are heading to add another additional plus in there, plus personalization is what we're equaling for marketing. So AI has really added that new variable of speed. That to me, I think is the big point there is that new variable speed has changed a lot of things. So much so, I did a 10-minute test for speed with automation. This was a really fun use case that I went through. So I wanted to write a sales letter and come up with some ad copy for a fictitious product. I imagine that I was a dog food manufacturer. So the 10-minute test, speed with automation. Number one, I prompted it with act as an Amazon product review analyzer. Analyze Amazon reviews for various products in a given product category and identify the most frequent complaints in 1-star reviews and most frequent positive comments in 5-star reviews to create a list of the biggest complaints and most positive comments. My first suggestion request is provide a list of the 10 most common complaints and 10 most common positive comments about dog food. Great. So what I got back was, okay, here are the 10 most common complaints. You see poor quality ingredients, digestive issues, bad smell taste, contamination, harmful substances, on and on and on. And it also gave me the best positive comments. So we had, it improved dog health and coat appearance, increased energy level activity, high quality ingredients, improve digestive health. So it gave me really what people were most concerned with in terms of the negative side effects that come with choosing a dog food, and really what made them excited and happy about the dog food that they purchased. So that was foundation piece number one. Took about a minute. Step two, now give me some great keywords to target for a blog about dog food. And so it spit out, here are 10 great keywords to target for a blog about dog food. Best dog food brands, homemade dog food, healthy dog food. It goes on and on and on. And so all I did, now this is one paid tool. You don't have to use paid. There's a lot of other keyword research tools out there. I just had SEMrush at my fingertips. So I simply went over to SEMrush and popped those 10 keywords in to identify some opportunities. And what I saw in there was, oh, that's interesting. There's budget-friendly diabetic dog food that has low keyword density. So it's something that we could be competitive in. It's got a reasonable cost per click. The volume isn't all the volume in the world, but if I'm able to do this strategy time and time again in just 10 minutes or 15 minutes, how many of these different kind of lower volume keywords could I optimize my advertising for and my content for time and time again, that I can just arbitrage and essentially have, hundreds and hundreds of pieces out there that maybe have a low volume, but together produce a much higher volume. So that's kind of where I honed in on budget friendly diabetic dog food. So then I went over and said, write a 2,000 word blog post to rank for the keyword budget friendly diabetic dog food. And I'm not going to go into the entire article because it was a 2,000 word article and I don't think it helps you for me to read that. But what I thought was cool is the summary at the top of the post, and what ended up turning into all the content below was in this post. So the title was Budget Friendly Diabetic Dog Food, Finding the Right Balance of Quality and Affordability. So right from there, I can go back to those Amazon product reviews and see that those are really big words, quality and affordability, that both were on the negative and the positive, right? And then in this post, we'll share with you the importance of feeding a diabetic dog the right food, the problems with conventional dog food, what to look for in budget-friendly diabetic dog food, choosing the right budget-friendly diabetic dog food. And it wrote me an entire 2,000 word blog post. All right, so now I've got my blog post, great. Now, moving on, I want some ad headlines. So write 10 headlines for an ad to sell budget-friendly diabetic dog food that dogs love to eat. It's filled with high quality ingredients. It has no fillers or artificial ingredients. And as you'll see here, the prompting gets more and more specific. So what I was able to do here as I was prompting was say, I knew that the keyword I wanted was budget friendly diabetic dog food. I knew that one of the biggest complaints from Amazon was that their dogs didn't want to eat the food. So make sure it's something that dogs love to eat. It's filled with high quality ingredients and it has no fillers and artificial ingredients. Again, going all back to what I got from that Amazon research and the keyword research that I did. Great, it popped me out with 10 options that I could hone in on. And so what I did with that is now said, I picked my favorite one, which was no more breaking the bank for quality diabetic dog food. Went back over to the next line and said, write a Facebook ad to sell budget-friendly diabetic dog food that dogs love to eat. So with high quality ingredients, it has no fillers or artificial ingredients without smelling bad or causing digestive issues. Again, one of those negative complaints. The headline for the ad is no more breaking the bank for quality diabetic dog food. And what did I get? A nice ad. Attention dog owners. Are you tired of overpaying for diabetic dog food that your furry friend refuses to eat? Say goodbye to high prices and poor quality with our budget-friendly diabetic dog food. Again, of course, there's not a specific name. I'm not a dog food manufacturer. I don't have a dog food brand, so I didn't necessarily put anything in there. But if I had a brand, I could simply say for the product XYZ name. Made with only the highest ingredients, your dog will love the taste and you'll love the peace of mind that comes with knowing they're eating well. Plus, our food contains no fillers or artificial ingredients and won't cause any digestive issues or unpleasant odors. Don't break the bank for quality diabetic dog food. Try our affordable option today. That was 10 minutes of work. 10 minutes of work. I now have keyword research. I was able to plug that in and see which keywords I wanted to attack. I'd had a blog post. I have a Facebook ad headline. I have a Facebook ad. And I also have a repository of negative and positive comments that I can do future iterations of the same thing with. Give me an hour. times this by 6, my goodness, how much content do I have? And the point I wanted to make with this test, less about the outputs that I got, because we're going to talk a lot about, especially on Monday, are the inputs and the quality of inputs and how to make your prompting better. But the point I wanted to share here was that the reality is the new measurement is speed. If you refuse to adopt AI, you will be left behind. Everyone now has the same starting point. The standard has become speed to good. Now, the difference is the best marketers will make it great. And that's what we're going to be sharing with you guys over these coming weeks, is how to take good and make it great, because average marketers will now be able to produce average work faster and at a higher volume. Great marketers will be able to produce great work faster. And that's going to be the big difference maker with AI and adopting AI. But again, that new measurement truly is speed and speed to good. And the last one here, last opportunity, is really mastering the prompts. That's our last big one here. So a lot of people, when they first get started out with using AI and AI tools, especially something like ChatGPT or some of the other examples, they kind of start with what will be a basic input. And these are the type of inputs that you guys will find out there on a lot of these free, get our best 365 prompts for ChatGPT. And a lot of those will give you very basic insights. And what you have to realize, and what we're going to share with you over the coming weeks, is basic isn't good enough. So I did a test. I said, basic input, write a radio advertisement for our local bakery. Great. So the basic output: attention all sweet tooths, get ready to indulge in the freshest and most delicious baked treats in town. Introducing your local bakery, where every bite is a burst of flavor. From fluffy croissants to rich chocolate cakes, with something for everybody. Stop by today and treat yourself to a fresh baked masterpiece. Our friendly staff can't wait to help you find your new favorite dessert. So come on in, grab a coffee, and taste the difference. Your local bakery, where every day is a sweet day. Super generic, something anybody could really write or find. Literally, I can just do a Google search and find enough to create that. It's nothing really exciting, nothing really specific, and just kind of generic. And if you put in generic inputs, you'll get out generic outputs. However, when you're able to get much more specific, then you're able to get a lot better results. So kind of the formula here to really take some of these prompts to the next level that I've been utilizing and works really well is, first, tell it how to act. So act as XYZ role. The role might be act as a copywriter. The role might be act as a recruiter if you want help with outreach for potential employment candidates. Maybe it's act as a business consultant. If you're talking for something, writing business strategy. Next, you want to tell it, what do you want it to do? What's the capability you want it to do? Do you want it to write something from scratch? Do you want it to rephrase something you've already written or something you've already produced? Do you want it to rewrite some text that you have that you're interested in? And then blank result. So what are you looking for? Again, results should be pretty easy. What's the output? Am I looking for a blog post, a headline, an ad, a radio ad, a Facebook ad, whatever that might be? That is XYZ in length, whether that's time or number of words, about the topic, service, or product that I'm interested in. That, and then providing in your unique selling proposition, what makes that topic, service, or product unique, and then make it in XYZ style. That style might be persuasive. That style might be funny. That style might be a specific person. For those of you that have used Jasper, there's lists out there of specific people that you can use that they have enough input for to write in that voice. And that's where specificity comes in. And so now I'm able to go into a much better input and saying, act as a marketing copywriter. Write a radio advertisement that is 30 seconds long about our local bakery called Matt's Macaroons. I don't have a bakery called that. I'm just being specific. So in case you guys get excited for my macaroons, I don't have one. I'm sorry. But where we bake delicious macaroons using only grass-fed butter and eggs flown in daily. That's our daily from France. That's our USP. We fly in our own butter and eggs from France because it's amazing. And it's persuasive and in the style of Ryan Deiss. So specificity, specificity, specificity. And what I got out was a much better quality end result. So here's the output. Attention all macaroon lovers. Tired of bland, lifeless, and tasteless macaroons? Are you looking for a truly elevated macaroon experience? Look no further. Matt's Macaroons is here to bring a touch of French sophistication to your taste buds with our deliciously authentic macaroons. Our secret? Only the freshest ingredients like grass-fed butter and eggs flown in daily from the heart of France. Every macaroon is crafted with care, creating the perfect balance of crispiness, chewiness, and a decadent flavor in every bite. But don't just take our word for it. Come and try one of our many flavors like the classic French vanilla, dark chocolate, or our signature salted caramel. You'll be transported to Paris with every bite. So why settle for less when you can have the best? Visit Matt's Macaroons, where every macaroon is a masterpiece. And so by giving it more and more specificity, we're able to get out a better result. Now, as any great marketer, I would then take that and continue to iterate, add more in, look at different pieces. Where do we have other specific, maybe we don't have a signature salted caramel. That might be something I need to edit before I just go and create this ad, but it gives me a much stronger foundation for what I'm doing. So it's all about the inputs to get the better outputs. And so some fun prompts that you can try that I wanted to provide really quickly. So first one, these are ones that have worked great for us. Can you write what type of text for this subject in this location, outlining the benefits offered by the subject? So a specific example might be, can you write a Facebook ad for the best marketing agency in Austin, Texas, outlining the services offered by the agency? And either you can leave it open-ended to where you let ChatGPT come up with what those benefits might be, or you can add in specifically, here are the top 3 or 4 or 5 benefits that we have for our agencies. Maybe it's, can you write me XYZ number of email subject lines for this type of email to this target audience? Again, getting very specific. Like, yeah, you can go in there and say, write me 10 email subject lines for an email about my massage gun. But you need to tell who. Like, specificity is key. Who are you looking for? I want it for people that are into CrossFit. So giving that target audience. Or even simple, can you write a super engaging video script on the topic of XYZ subject, and then provide as much additional details as you can as possible? Can you write me a super engaging video script on the topic of AI in marketing for an upcoming boot camp that I'm doing called the AI Powered Marketer, in which we're going to spend 6 to 8 weeks teaching marketers how to leverage AI to 10x their marketing abilities and efficiencies. Something like that, we're able to add that additional details. But, the key takeaway there is specificity is key. If you have no original thought, you're only able to produce the contents and results that literally anyone else can too. So I'm coming back to that point because we have to realize that the starting point has changed and that we have to now work to move past that starting line, right? So we did something fun and we wanted to share this with you guys because I think it's really cool. First and foremost, that right there, you can get our best prompts. You can scan that QR code while this is up, or you can go to digitalmarketer.com/prompts. Hope you guys keep that in between all of us and everybody here in this boot camp. I'm sure it'll be shared, but that's okay. What we've done is we've populated with prompts that we believe are great. It's a simple Google sheet. It tells you topically what it's about. You're able to copy and paste and use those. So feel free to do that. Sorry, I forgot to give Michelle and Cecilia this link before, so they can't drop it in the chat, but hopefully it's simple enough. Just digitalmarketer.com/prompts. Now, the other ask I have that I think would be really cool would be if you go ahead and share your best prompts. So if you've got something that is great that you don't see missing in the list, or maybe it's something you use every day or every week that is just your go-to prompt, please share it. Anything you can add makes this repository better, makes it stronger for everybody, especially as we go throughout this journey on the AI Powered Marketer. So go over to digitalmarketer.com/prompt share. And there's a simple little Google form there that you're able to put in all the details for that. So with that being said, that is about it for me. Now, coming up next on Monday, we're going to be going into something called the Ideal Client Profiler. And so this is an initial framework that we're excited to share and really dig deep with you guys, because going back to the point I made, and that's why I want to drive this home, is that the outputs you get are only as good as the inputs you give it. We need a repository. We need a foundation for what we're going to do when we're prompting that's going to last us throughout basically this entire program. Excuse me, something that we can really leverage and utilize to generate high quality inputs and prompts that give us the best quality outputs. So that is something that is really going to be essential throughout this program, and we'll be excited to share that with you on Monday. And so, as much as we won't be digging nearly into AI quite as much, I'll have some cool prompts for you on Monday about it. But please try and be there, because this is really important and really foundational. So foundational that I actually yesterday had a private call with the Jasper team and product development on some of the stuff that they're working on that is related to some of this inputs, and specifically when it comes to customer avatars and brand voice and all that kind of stuff, and some of the really cool stuff they're working on. So this is a big piece that's going to be coming soon, I think, in a lot of the AI tools that a lot of them are working on. And I think it's a good piece for you to know. It's going to help make your prompting and your results even better. So that is it for me. Happy to answer any questions we might have. But yeah, thanks everybody.
Awesome. We actually do have a couple that we haven't answered yet. I'm going to go with the Matt-centric ones. So we have, Matt, how much seeding information do you use? I tend to seed 4 to 5 key points before asking for anything back, such as info about the company, product, etc.
Yeah, really. Yeah, 3 to 5 points, I think, are really specific. But again, it comes back to what you're looking for. Because I think what you want to have in there, especially if you're looking for a product or service, is, first you want to give it what the product or service is. Second, you want to make sure you're giving it who this output is going to be for, whether it's an ad, whether it's a blog post. Who are you writing it for? Again, who's that ideal client, or who's that customer avatar that it's written for? That's really, really essential. And then when it comes to any sort of benefits or any specific outputs you're looking for, that you can enrich that data with, adding an additional 3 to 5 points there, I find is really, really helpful. Especially a lot of you that are using it to write any sort of headlines, whether it's for landing page or ad copy. What I found works really, really well is having both negative and positive qualifiers. So what are 3 to 5 things that these people that we're writing this to are really interested in and would make them really excited about this product? And what are 3 to 5 things that not would repel them from it, but would actually, it's negative beliefs that they might have currently, or something that would hold them back from wanting to move forward in whatever action I'm looking to get them to take. So those are some good points there to have in there.
Awesome. I'm going to actually answer this one by Lori Harris. She said, Mark and Matt both mentioned personalization a few times. Can you expand on how you use AI increasing personalization? What I said had more to do with content. Just so you guys know, Matt's the marketing side. I'm the content side. So in terms of content, personalization could be as simple as rewriting existing content that you have, say an article, for a specific customer avatar or even a specific person. So if you have maybe a sales letter that you typically send, you can now personalize that sales letter just by loading it into something like ChatGPT and saying, write this for a assistant manager at a car dealership. And then it'll just rewrite everything. So in terms of something that may have taken you a day, a week, or really something you just never would have done, you'd be like, hey, here's my template, whatever, I don't have time to redo this. And you just send it out. Now you could, within minutes, rewrite that same thing for a specific person or a specific position. So it's really powerful. Now, long-term,
No, go ahead, Mark. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say longer term, you'll start seeing personalization in terms of individual platforms taking your user data and tailoring specific ads maybe for who you're targeting. So in terms of design, it might be you in an ad wearing the t-shirt that they know you wear because they analyze that Mark DeGrasse wears black shirts all the time. So now we're going to put him in our black shirt on an ad that we're showing him. And now I'm much more interested in buying. So that's just one simple example. Now, Matt, I know you have a bunch.
Yeah, so that's a big piece that a lot of people are moving towards too, and it's something we've been delving into. It is that next level. I mean, right now it's very high level enterprise solutions that are providing that. And it's something we're looking to leverage as well. But some more simple ways that aren't investing in a big AI enterprise level tool that you can use personalization is stuff like if you've got a sales team. We've got a sales team here that is able to leverage AI when they're sending follow-up emails or outreach emails to potential prospects. So in one of our other businesses, we focus primarily on business owners. So what they're able to do is the right prompting is, is basically generate an email response to this email. We're going to paste it below about a company that is in XYZ industry. So maybe the person that came through is they're in agriculture or they're in manufacturing with the XYZ pain points. So now they're able to get feedback that they're able to copy and paste those emails in that are much more specific to that individual prospect, specific to their company, to their industry, to their number of employees, anything along those lines, instead of just a generic, outreach email from sales. It's like, hey, saw you were on our site, check this out. It's like, no, now I can say, hey, love, thanks for checking out Scalable. Saw that you are focused on manufacturing here. I know what's really important in manufacturing is that you have XYZ process in place. That's what we help people do at the Scalable company. Do you want to learn more about it? Reach out, and we can have a lot more specific to their industry or to their type of company and personalize there. So I think that's a piece there that's really, really cool. And also just getting ultra specific in our ad copy to that, again, that ideal client. Who are we actually trying to attract? And making sure we're feeding the AI tools that information to get ultra specific to speak directly to that person and not just broad.
Awesome. All right. We actually do have Julia McCoy here, and we do have a question. Does Content Scale do the keyword research, or do we need something like SEMrush or Ahrefs?
I don't know if you can see or hear me. I'm in the car, but I'm here.
Yes, we hear you.
So what the question was?
Oh, it just had to do with content at scale. Do the keyword research, or do you integrate other tools to do that part of it?
Yes, so that's a great question. And I love that Matt was using ChatGPT for some keyword research. And I'm like, Matt, there's a better tool. So Content at Scale, and you can use ChatGPT. I'm not saying you can't. It's a good use for it. But Content at Scale looks at the SERPs the minute you hit run post. So it has its own keyword crawler. And, it took them a year to develop this. So they put a lot of work and time into developing their own SERP analyzer. So it actually goes, all you need is one keyword, and it goes and it looks at the top of Google for that keyword, and it pulls in like 10 to 12 synonymous keywords, and it'll give you those in an on-page checklist right then and there. So it's current. It's not like pulling some old keyword list from some existing article. It's looking at what's ranking in the top right then and there. So hopefully that answers the question.
It does. All right. Thank you, Julia. Really appreciate you. You're not driving, right?
What I'll say on that is thanks, Julia, for sharing that. And what I want to say on that is, because it was in the chat as well, is that's what's going to be fun about this experience during this program is what we're going to be able to do is show you guys different levels of tools that you can use. Like I mentioned, we've got free tools, paid tools, enterprise tools, and we're going to show you the gamut and make the decision that's best for you. Like I was mentioning, I use ChatGPT. There are higher levels to use that involve an investment, but it's just a matter of what's a good fit for your business. So the nice thing is there's a gamut there, and that's what we want to provide you those options and say, okay, yes, like there are other ways to do this. And I'm glad that question came up, because we're able to show you that gamut and show you the different tools, the power of each of them, and let you decide for yourself what's going to be best. Whether that's the free tools that are out there or investing in some paid tools as well that we recommend. So excited about that opportunity to share with you guys all that.
Awesome. Let's see. We got one. Oh, I like this one. Is this course something we can put on a resume? And I'm going to tell you, because I was actually reviewing resumes, like 50 of them for the last week, because I'm looking for a production assistant. Nobody put AI. And I actually asked it during the group interviews to about 20 different people. None of them, these are all 20 somethings, had AI experience, had ever even tried ChatGPT. So yes, if you take any amount of effort to using this tool, like it'll make a big impact. That would put somebody on the top of the pile if they had said yes and nobody said yes. They were thinking about it, which I was like, that's not good enough. Also, it's free. What's your, anyways, yes, it will help with your resume builders. So that's a good question. Let's see, from Sabrina, I noticed that more of my prompts are long more ChatGPT is mainly paraphrasing. Wait, I noticed that more of my prompts are long, more ChatGPT is mainly paraphrasing. Any idea why?
That may be just a simple command issue. What you might want to take a look at is what are you asking it to do and the way you are messaging that. Like I was talking about, there's a way to have it write for you. Whether is it rephrasing for you, is it rewriting for you, or are you asking it? Because I know what you're dealing with. I've had the same thing in the past. So what I've done in the past is say, write me variations of the following headlines, or write me variations of the following text. And what you can also say is you can tell it either use that specific content. It's like, so say basically without deleting any of the content that I give you, or saying without using any of the content that I give you. So you can be very specific there and say, like, if it's all paraphrasing, it's like, if whatever you're giving it, say, without reusing any of the content I'm providing to you. So think outside the box, completely from beyond what I'm prompting you with. So that I think might help you there on that piece. Because yeah, if you get too much information that's very, very specific, it can go that way. But then you just have to look at it and tell it, what can I tell it to do that's going to open it up a little bit? You got to be very specific too with the command that you're asking for. Again, it's just a machine. Machine needs commands, just like the computers we're all on. And so the more you can command it to do what you want, the better those responses will be.
Awesome. And actually, that's a good follow-up from that is Conan asked, do these prompts work primarily in ChatGPT? Matt, you want to take that?
Yeah. I mean, the ones that I provided are in ChatGPT, but the same concepts work throughout the tools. I mean, Jasper's got a chat tool now that you could use the same prompting with and have. The other tools out there have recipes for you and templates for you that it is essentially asking the same information from you, just in a slightly different way. So yes, and there's certain tools that are slightly nuanced in the way that it's presented to you as a user to enter that information. But at the end of the day, a lot of what we're talking about here is, a lot of these tools most of these tools are all pulling from the same main database, right? I think that's the piece that a lot of people get mixed up on is, Jasper and ChatGPT pull from the same main database. They have a difference in a filtering mechanism in the way that they distill the requests that you're getting to provide you the best information. That's the major difference, is the core open API piece, not the user interface that is laid over top. A lot of them are pulling from the same database. So it's just a matter of what they've done on their end to slightly nuance and change the outputs that you're going to get slightly to make it better for you.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point too, is there are nuances based on each platform where they actually have like kind of custom code that you'd use, especially with the design aspects, where you'll use dashes and you'll use parentheses and different aspects in order to specify what you want from an image. Even with like DALL-E, you could specify, okay, I want the trees in this image to take up 50% of the image, and I want this other subject to take up 25% of the image. And there are some specific prompting. So prompting's really important. But even aside from that, just your ability to describe what you want is very important as well. And the only way you're going to get better at that is by writing more prompts or reading more books, because the more you read, the better your prompting is going to get, and the more creative and innovative it'll get as well. So I definitely recommend picking up a book and, reading some stuff. It helps quite a bit. I will also say, just in terms of how you understand AI, is a little bit different too. So ChatGPT is working on what's called a fixed data set. So what it does is actually looks at, they don't specify how many years, but it ended in 2021. So I'm guessing 10 years, so say 2011 to 2021, it's this data set. It sees all of the data and then it identifies patterns in that data, and then it gives you an answer. So ChatGPT couldn't quote sources if it wanted to. I know, because I asked it about it and it said, no, I have no idea where this information came from. It just found patterns, and that's what's displayed. Now, that's one type of AI. There's multiple types of AI. The scariest ones I've heard about recently were principle-driven AI, where it makes decisions and information based off of a principle. So if you said like strength is the highest value that it, anything can have, then it would make answers based on that specific principle. So this is all, we're not going to cover a ton of AI, but it's important to understand that the data that is actually driving these AI is dependent on how it's designed and the type of AI it is. Practical application, don't worry about it so much. Just use it as a tool right now to make your job easier. And then as you use it, you'll start to understand more about it. And we'll kind of quote how the information is generated from the specific tools whenever we can. But if you have a question, you could always ask the AI. It'll tell you exactly how it creates the information. All right. Tons of questions. All right. Which type of copy does not work well with AI? Product descriptions, health topics, etc. I haven't seen one yet that it can't.
I haven't found anything yet. We do have a later on question that I think could answer some of this, where Vicky was asking about, she's having some tough time with no code, low code, writing around that in the tech industry because it's so new. So I think that's where you'll find stuff where it might have some issues, is newer topics, especially with the training data set currently being, limited to 2021. So that I think there. The other thing I will say on limitations is it can write the data. However, on health, especially on GPT, depending on what you ask it, there are some limitations of what it will spit out. Like any other industry, well, I shouldn't say any other. A lot of other industries, you can ask GPT to like create mock testimonials. Now, word of warning, you should not be using those. But what it's saying is, if you had these types of testimonials, you should place them in the sales letter here. And so it gives you a good kind of frame of reference of like, oh yeah, that's a good point. The copyright there was talking about XYZ. If I had a testimonial that said something along these lines, it'd be a perfect place to put it. So don't go use those in your landing page. That's quite illegal. However, so with health, it will not spit out anything along the lines of that because there are some limitations. So there are some, but for the most part, it's pretty good and being open with that. So the other thing go ahead, Mark.
Oh, no, I was going to say, just on that health topic, it reminded me, I talked to an executive that was actually at a medical device company, and he said that because his customer base is so technically oriented that when he tried to use ChatGPT or any of the more simple AIs, it couldn't write the information he needed, and he wouldn't use it because it wasn't specific enough to specific medical practices and legal practices and more like technical documentation. Now, I'm sure there are some tools coming out that'll do that, but he said that ChatGPT at least wasn't there yet. So I'd say don't write your discourse on ChatGPT. Like, still do the research, and if there's a PhD that's actually reviewing it, you still need to talk to the PhD.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Follow up to that.
Actually, before we go on to the next one, let me, just because I brought up Vicky's question, I want to go ahead and answer that one on the no code, low code tech industry stuff. What I would say there, Vicky, is yeah, that is a bit of a limitation in that it's a newer industry, but I think the challenge there would be to say, how do I break down what I'm trying to talk about into smaller chunks? Because there is data out there. I mean, when I'm looking about pain points, what you can find for sure is what are the major pain points that businesses deal with when it comes to coding or when it comes to development, anything along those lines that can provide you really great feedback for things that you should work into your marketing. So if you are having limitations, sometimes it's easy to just want to say, I want to feed it with this big overarching topic and then just get everything from it. Sometimes it does take a little bit of extra layers of work to say, how do I break some of these things apart to get what I want to then put together into a final piece? So that might be a frame to think about it for you.
But a lot of those things could actually be solved by breaking down the topic, just like you said, where, actually, I just put a video on the Slack channel where I showed exactly the questions I asked to generate the information I needed for the article, which allowed me to write it 10 times faster than it would have taken me if I tried to research each thing myself, or I would have just cut it down. So instead of 5 ways, it would be 2 ways because that takes too long to research. So it's a really good use for it. Let's see. Seamus Brown said, follow up on the QA about SERPs. When is ChatGPT getting live internet info versus being limited to 2021 data set? I think the upgraded version does, doesn't it?
Live data?
Yeah, it's not live, but I thought they were going to update it.
No, I don't believe it's updated yet from what I can find, but I do know on the Jasper side, just speaking of tools, that they do now have a functionality where you can turn on Google search results and to get live data. So that is a toggle you can turn on and off, but I don't believe that I've found that ChatGPT is quite yet up to live information. So it still stops at 2021 as it is, because again, it's just a data set it's pulling from. So if the data set isn't being updated, then yeah, that's what Andrew said. Yeah, Bing's has a beta version of a live ChatGPT. That is stuff they've talked about of where we're heading, that Bing might be pushing things forward there. There's a lot of speculation that comes to Dom's question about when will GPT-4 come out. People think it's the end of the year or middle end of the year. Other people are saying that when Bing releases theirs sooner, that it will actually be powered by GPT-4 and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of this is speculative right now. I wouldn't get too, kind of caught up in the hype there. What I'll also say about GPT-4 is a lot of what they're saying on that side is that really it's not going to be trained with additional data or a bigger data set. Most of the updates in 4 will be focused around coding. Less so about content. So making it write more code, better code in different coding languages like Python and whatnot. So again, don't get too excited with the hype or too distracted by it. It'll continue to get updated and a lot will change. But what we're teaching here are the foundations that will really help no matter what changes are made.
Awesome. Let me see. Are we going to be covering image creation, AI tools like Midjourney? Yes, that's actually the bonus section. I'll probably be interjecting more of the Midjourney use just because it's something that I do every day. So that'll just be in regards to prompting, kind of the process of creation and even the limitations that you have, because there are limitations like hands. AI has problems with hands, but Midjourney, you'll get a lot more interesting stuff than you will on DALL-E, which I think DALL-E's safe. And just so everybody knows, there is a similar DALL-E to, it might even be DALL-E on Canva. So if you go to Canva, just go text to image, it's an application on there. You could generate images using that and they're pretty simple. It's like, I need a panda riding a skateboard. Then it'll generate that. But we will talk about design aspects throughout, but we have a specific bonus section in April. So if you want to look that up, it is on the calendar. Let's see. Andrew Bonts. Oh, Andrew's awesome. Have you tried to train ChatGPT on the voice of the business owner by feeding it past content so it can write content similar to the voice of the brand? Yes. It's super easy. And actually, I think Atiba talks about that quite a bit. Is Atiba in here? If he's in here, I'll let him answer. But Atiba is going to be doing another bonus section. It's going to be specifically on advanced prompt engineering. And we will be talking about that, but it's pretty simple. Well, what I do on ChatGPT is I just load up an article or as much as an article as I can, and then I just tell it to review that and then write in the voice of that, or analyze it and then write in the similar style to the writing that you see. So it's pretty simple and it's pretty accurate. Like I've read it and, for me, sometimes I'll read stuff I wrote in the past. I don't remember writing it. So it's similar to that where I'm like, that sounds like something I would say. And then it goes. So
yeah, it's still pretty entry level and stuff that you can provide it, with obviously the more content you're going to give it. It's like, if you look at an AI tool like Descript can do an AI version of your voice for voiceovers on video. If you give it about, I think it's 60 minutes of recorded video, voiceover video. So the more you give it, the better. But however, the hard thing about that is you're doing it every single time you want to write something new, every single time you start a new chat. So that's where it gets a little trickier on it, is having that database. I know what Atiba has done is kind of use some of the open API to infuse some of that content in there and build a kind of a separate repository to help with brand voice. But what is cool is that a lot of the tools out there now are working on solving this, because I think it's something that a lot of people are excited about. A lot of people want to be able to utilize. And so I know that a few of the tools out there right now, it's in process that you would be able to essentially create your own repository of content you could upload and mimic brand voice. So
excellent. And actually, I am testing out that Descript tool. I trained it with 20 minutes. So I'm going to train it with 20 minutes, generate a piece, and then I'm going to add 10 minutes. And so I'll post that tutorial as soon as it is done. Then I don't have to talk ever. I can just type it in, good to go, generate through ChatGPT, feed that. And now you say, or Synasia. Does anybody use Synasia? It's a AI generation tool where basically they took a model and they had the model say a certain amount of words, and then you could type in and that model will say whatever you want with limitations. You can't make them cuss, because I found that out. It wasn't even cussing though. I think it was like the D word or something. Anyways, so there are limitations to that. My goal is actually to do it myself, and then then I could train all the certifications, and all I have to do is type it out. I'm a better typer than speaker. All right, let's see. Would love some book recommendations from Conan. We actually have an entire database of book recommendations. Is this specifically for AI? Because there's not too many of those books yet, but we have thousands of marketing books that Ryan specifically has reviewed. So we'll provide you a link with that. Yes, AI. No, I don't have an AI book to recommend yet. So it's still pretty new. I was writing one myself just about. Oh, go ahead.
And I know where that question came from. And I know, Mark, because you were mentioning earlier about reading more. And I think the point that Mark was making was reading more about marketing strategy and marketing tactics, so that you're then able to infuse that into your prompting. Like the AI will understand if you want to use like the marketing framework of like problem, agitate, solution. It will pick that up. So it will pick up other frameworks out there that it has reference data to. So he's saying, read those books, understand the strategies out there, and then leverage those. Like Ada is one that you can use on Jasper. You can use it other places as well. So that's a big piece there is leveraging a lot of these marketing strategies and books to make your prompts better.
And just fiction. I was actually specifically talking about fiction because I read a lot of fiction, and what it allows you to do is be more descriptive with what you want, or even just explain things better, because your ability to explain what you want and how you want it is really important for prompting. Because if you can't, then it'll just spit out whatever basic thing it can. If you're more descriptive, or if you just have some key words, because I just did a podcast with Dennis Yu, and he asked a question and then he followed it up with, tune into this aspect of the previous question and expand on it. So even just little cues like that, which we'll be talking about throughout the entire course, will help you get closer to the content that you want. But in general, read a lot and write a lot, and then you'll be able to use these tools like 1,000 times better. Let's see, from ND, we have, will we end up with Excel sheet with different prompt frameworks for different tasks to make sure all inputs to move our way towards a final output? So I think you mean connecting prompts together using a prompt framework, which sounds like what Atiba is going to teach with advanced prompt engineering. So yes.
Yep.
We'll say we answered that one. Okay. If you want to get live search results from ChatGPT, just add this Chrome browser extension. Oh, that's a good advice. We'll go ahead and share that. That was from Rod Solar. Let's see. And I have dozens of frameworks depending on what I'm doing. Just wish there was a tool that would let me create that more automatically versus every time I start a new session, maybe pulling from a Google Sheet intake, which I think you mentioned that too, Matt.
Yeah, that's so in terms of having it do it automatically with the API, if you know how to code and create that in the API, then you could set that up. I don't know of any tools yet that have an end user tool that's got an open API that you can do. I know they're working on it, and something that you would be able to basically query based on like a Google Sheet. So it's something to keep an eye out for. I don't know of any tools yet that allow it, unless you go and basically create your own tool based on the open API that you'd be able to do that. So I'm not sure yet that I've found anything, but there might be something out there. And if not, I think there's going to be some stuff out there relatively soon here.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And actually the Bing demonstration that they gave, they were pulling live data from that. So, oh wait, I think I'm going back to another question. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff coming out, and we'll try to keep up to date with, the new developments with each one of the applications. But again, this course is more about practical application from what's working right now versus getting you advanced onto like, hey, this might come in the future. That's more perspective, and we're trying to be very practical with this. So if you have the answers, please ask them about the coming developments, because we could literally reach out. Like I said, I'm going to the Jasper headquarters, I think next Thursday or something. So any Jasper questions, we could go ahead and talk to them. And that was thanks to Lauren Petrullo, by the way, which I think is hanging out in here too. Let's see, Vicky Gritch. Have you tried Latte? Didn't rate the couple of outputs, so wondering anything else you would suggest, i.e. long form video podcast or content, and use an AI tool to cut this into mid or short form content. Oh, actually I have an advice for that. Video, which is, let me type it. It's vidyo.ai. It's not perfect, but if you have an hour-long piece of content, like I use it for my podcast where I just load it up and then it will select the clip and it'll create the file, and that's it. Then I can just share the file, and it's free, at least for the lower grade version. If you want the HD quality, you have to pay something, but it's a super simple tool and super valuable. I've not tried Latte though. Anybody tried Latte? Matt?
I have not tried Latte yet. That looks pretty, and that's the thing. These AI tools are popping up constantly. There are millions of them. I'm sure everybody here uses stuff that some of us use, some of us don't use, some of us never heard of. It's endless. And it's great. It's exciting to see that there's so many options out there. So cool. Thanks for sharing Latte. That looks slick. And that might be something fun that we'll need to do, Mark, in the Slack channel. Is we should probably start a tools channel. Kind of a tool time where people can drop in their favorite tools and everybody can see what they're doing with it. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, and even if you just try it, like I tried Steve.ai yesterday, which was like, it's a presentation creation tool where you basically type in your thing and then it adds animations and stuff. I can't get the stupid thing to render, so it's not on my top list. But yeah, as you find tools, go ahead and recommend them, especially if you have, again, specific applications for them, like video for breaking down a podcast that you don't want to have to watch and chop up. That's a good use of it. I'm just going to say a couple of these. There are a bunch of answers in the question and answer section if you guys check that out, but I'll go and read them out loud. The slide decks. So the slide decks will be uploaded usually immediately following or right before each presentation. So you'll be able to get that from the members.digitalmarketer.com portal. You should have access to that, and that's where we'll put all resources, all videos, and everything else. We'll also include them in the Slack channel, but we can't organize them the same way as we can with our coursework. Same thing with the files. Let's see, we did the personalization. Let's see, character count for, oh yeah, I guess Matt answered this one. Did you add a character count to your prompt for the FB or the Facebook ad?
I did not on the original prompt of the example there, but you absolutely can, and it'd probably be helpful if you do. Sometimes some will run a little bit longer, but you can also edit it down. Typically, it'd just be an extra word or two to edit down. What I will say is character count is a little tricky. It doesn't tend to pick up character count as well as it picks up word count. So you might have to play with both, see what you get. I would do something with no constraints and then something probably with a word count and a character count and see what you get back. But it might require a touch bit of editing to kind of keep under those character counts that are most optimized. But again, you're talking about maybe a word. So again, that's that human element that takes AI and makes it that much better, right? So.
Nice. All right. Well, I think we covered most of the answers. I'm going to talk about housekeeping real quick. If you're not on the Slack channel, get on the Slack channel. We're going to be sharing not just the information that we have during the presentations, but we'll be putting extra stuff. I tend to just record stuff all the time. So you'll see me there posting anything that has to do with AI. And if you have some specific aspect, I would ask the question on those videos that we share in Slack in order to get, even more answers, which is awesome because we love doing this. Oh, last question. Let's see. Will you collect the Q&A and make it available too? It's hard to read through the answers and chats. Yes, we will go ahead and get that organized so you guys have everything. And again, we'll share it within Slack channel and members.digitalmarketer.com. We also share these recordings and everything else. on there. But again, you could reach out to us individually on the Slack channel with any specific questions. The next session. So like I said, this will be uploaded probably within the next hour or two. The next session is going to be on Monday, the 6th from same time, 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Central. So please make that. We'll still be recording it. And if you can't make it, that's fine. I would still watch it, because a lot of times what happens with these courses is they tend to build upon themselves. And so if you don't keep up with them, you might miss a prompting tip or something that everybody else is going to be very up to date with. And then your question will seem out of tune, which is a good way to say you weren't paying attention like in school. But yeah, we're happy to answer any questions. So keep them up. And again, this is about practical application. So anything we talk about, I would definitely try it like almost during the course. Don't not pay attention to the course, but immediately after, I would make yourself that action list and go ahead and do it immediately. That's the best way to learn these and start to implement them immediately. And I think that is it. So we got the schedule is pretty simple. I'm going to share it one more time just so you guys can see it. It's Monday, Wednesdays, 2 to 2:30 to 4 on each day, except for Easter week. So the 10th, we won't be there, but we'll follow up with those. And there might be some more of these, extra sessions or bonus sessions. So just keep an eye out for that. But next week we got the 6th and the 8th, 2:30 to 4. And we're going to hear again from Matt on the 6th. And then we're going to have Scott Cunningham coming in on the 8th. And again, we'll provide all those details before and after each meeting. I think that wraps it up. So this has been great. I'm so excited you guys are here. I'm so excited that so many people are getting on the AI train. I think, again, this is the biggest thing to happen to marketing since the internet. So you're front runners. Like I said, the 20 somethings, and I interviewed like 20 people. None of them have AI on their radar. It's like it doesn't exist somehow. So you are getting a big advantage on top of them. And I'm so excited that you decided to come to us to learn about it.
Awesome.
All right. And thank you, Matt. And we'll see you Monday too.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Cheryl. Bye.
See you, everyone.
See you Monday.